on today's Into Your Head podcast number 684, content on the threes, shaving versus piloting a helicopter, modern attitudes to fingernails, self-administered reprimandation, the mind's eye versus jelly, do monkeys bite their fingernails, the woman on the Pepsi Max bottles, and lots more.
Monkey nuts! That's what they call them! Monkey nuts! Into your head! Monkey nuts! That's what they call them! Big steaming piles of monkey nuts! Into your head!
We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. Topics. We've got lots and lots of topics. We're positively booming to the seams with topics. We've got topics coming out of this gob. Which I realise is just another way of saying mouth, and is therefore effectively a repetition of something I've said many times before. Not people think you can just get a thesaurus and get away with doing the same thing over and over. No, you can't. And I hereby reprimand myself for attempting to do that a moment ago. I hereby give myself a slap on the face. There you go, slap on the face. I won't slap the other side because I cut myself shaving 2 days ago and it's already cut up enough. So I've slapped the left side of my face instead. So now I'm equally injured on both sides of my face. One side accidentally and the other side intentionally. That's not to say I had intentions of injuring myself. I just had intentions of slapping myself for entertainment purposes. Whether it was worth it or not remains to be seen when I listen back to this show at a later date with the advantage of having put some time between me and the current recording session because I'm biased at the moment because I'm here. I'm the one being assaulted by myself. But in the future me won't be the one who's being assaulted. Although, well, it'll be in his past at least, which puts a bit of distance in between me and it. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. Two thesaurus users walk into a bar. One of the thesaurus users goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I 428 millilitres of your best Irish stout, please?" Or is it ale? I can never remember. I think it's stout. The black stuff with the white head. And the man behind the bar says, "Oh, you mean Guinness?" And the thesaurus user says, "Yes, I do mean Guinness. I thought I'd use a different word for it for a change. If we're going to be doing stories like this every frigging episode for the foreseeable future, I thought I might as well use some different language for a change." And the man behind the bar says, fair enough. And then he says, "Oh, I probably should have said the second instance of fair enough using different words. I should have said, instead of saying fair enough, I should have said fair enough, mild, sufficiently mild or something." I don't know what would be the point of that. You can overdo these things, you know. And the thesaurus user says, "I know I can overdo these things. I'm overdoing them right now. And I do that because I can. The reason I'm doing this is because I can. That's a good enough reason as any." And the man behind the bar says, "Oh, you mean Annie the cat?" And the thesaurus user says, "What?" And the man behind the bar says, "You mean Annie the cat?" He said, "Is as good a reason as Annie. Is Annie the cat?" And the thesaurus user says, "I don't know what you're on about, but I'll have a pint of your finest Guinness, please." And the man behind the bar says, "You will if I let you. You won't. You don't get to decide whether you'll have it. You can ask me to give you a pint of Guinness, but you don't get to dictate to me whether or not I can give it to you." And the man in front of the bar says, What's the point of all this? What's the point of all this? Is getting very repetitious. You do this every fucking week or every twice a week or whatever the frequency is now. You do these two cats walk into a bar store and the man behind the bar interrupts him and says, "Who said you were a cat?" And the thesaurus user says, I would have thought it was obvious. Can you see me? And the man behind the bar says, no, I can't. You're very low down, or you're very small, or maybe you are a cat now that I think about it, if I can't see you over the bar from here. And the thesaurus user says, indeed, maybe indeed I am a cat. You'll never know, and that's the advantage of all this, because you don't know what I am, so you'll have the benefit of not being prejudiced with that information. And the man behind the bar says, I'm bored with this now, can we move on? And the cat says, oh yes please, Christ yes please, and a great night is had by all. Now, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, oh, he's going way over the top with this reprimandation or whatever his thing now. First he punished himself for overuse of a thesaurus, and now he's using his own stories to give out to himself about overusing the two cats walking to a bar story format. This is getting way out of hand. Next he'll be flagellating himself or whatever that is. Is that a thing? Hold on, I have to check this. Is that what I think it means? I only remember it from a Christy Moore song about something or other. Something was flagellating themselves on the floor. Hold on a minute. Flagellation. That's the thing. Let's see. Flagellation is the act of whipping oneself for religious or spiritual purposes. No, I don't think that's what I meant. I don't think so anyway. And then the next link says, what material is best for self-flagellation? Presumably one's own flesh. If you're going to do something to yourself, the best material to use is you. If you're using something other than you, oh, that's from Landover Baptist Church, guaranteeing salvation since 1620, where the worthwhile worship, unsaved welcome, exclamation mark. We'll close that down now because it's becoming a bit disturbing, and we'll move on from this on to something else. Let's move on from this to something else. Let's have a sup of this beverage. I'm not drinking caffeine today because I want to sleep properly tonight, so we'll have a sup of this Pepsi Max. Is there caffeine in that? There probably is. Maximum taste, no sugar, and a picture of some woman on the label. They've started putting pictures of some woman on the Pepsi Max bottles here, on the little 500 year ones. Some sort of a drawing of some woman. I don't know what the purpose of that is. Maybe I was under the impression that Pepsi Max was aimed at men, just the same as Coke Zero was, but no, they're putting women on this now. Although maybe that's how they target men, by putting women on it. So if you wanted to target a cat, you'd put what would you put on it? I suppose a cat of the opposite sex. What if you wanted to target a beverage at cats, but didn't want to target a particular sex of cats? You wanted to target both sexes. Would you have to put a transgender cat on the label and make it so that it's attractive to both sexes? I don't know. This is all probably not something we're going to have to worry about in real life. This is all what's the word? I'm trying to remember the word for it. Christ, what's that word for something that it's a something-ative question. For fuck's sake, I can't think of words when I need them. I think I might be losing my brain. It's probably from drinking too much of this Pepsi Max. Which, as a matter of fact, I don't. I rarely drink Pepsi Max at all. I just happen to have it now because I was in Kilkenny yesterday and I passed a €2 shop and they were doing 3 bottles of Pepsi Max for €2. I only wanted one to drink on the bus, but I said, no, if you buy one, then you're wasting money. You need to buy 3 to avoid wastage, and jam them into your already overfilled backpack and carry them all the way home. That's what you have to do. You have to spend more to save more, because the more you spend, the more you save. That's how shopping works. I recognise this as a house husband of several years now. The only way to save money is to spend it. If you don't spend it, then you're not saving it at all. You just have it. It's doing nothing. It's sitting there doing nothing. It's sitting there twiddling its thumbs, which it doesn't even have, so it's doing even less than twiddling its thumbs. It's basically basically sitting there like a cat asleep, but not purring. At least when a cat's asleep, it does stuff in its brain. It dreams about catching wasps and things. You know, because you see their little ears twitching, and you see them. You see them. If you were to get some sort of a machine that doesn't currently exist and plug it into their brains and transmit their dreams onto a big screen somewhere, you'd be very entertained, assuming you're into that sort of thing, which maybe you're not. Who am I to say what you're into? Well, I can say what you're into because you're a fictional character. It's not you, the real listener who's listening here. It's a fictional listener who I'm discussing here, because there's more than one listener. If I say you, the listener, I'm not referring to you. It's like that song that goes, "You're so vain, you probably think this song is about you." Well, it's not. It's not even a fucking song. Although we could make it into a song. Well, we make it into a song. We might as well. Oh, Pepsi Max, Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max fell on his wax. So that's bollocks. That's bollocks. I was trying to. It's obvious what I was trying to do there. I failed miserably at trying to make a song out of a Pepsi Max story. It wasn't even a story. It was just a mention of me buying a couple of bottles of Pepsi Max. That's not a story. Well, technically it is, but it's not. If you get my drift, it's not of any value to us here for our purposes here, wherever those may be. What are our purposes here? Well, your purpose here is probably to pass half an hour of your miserable commute to your miserable office job with some audio entertainment. My purpose here is to pass half an hour or more of my day by creating entertainment and pretending I'm contributing something to the world, which indeed I am. I'm contributing something to the world. I'm contributing this. I'm going to upload this to archive.org and my own website, and it's going to be floating around in the ether hundreds of years from now. People are going to come up here and they'll say, they used to not target caffeinated drinks at cats. Do you realise that? This will be history. I'll tell you then, the shit will be wiped off the other side of your face, although there'll still be a cut on this side from the shaving thing, because the more advanced they make these fucking fancy razor blades, the more cuts you get, because they decide, needs to have 8 blades now. My latest shaving thing now has 5 blades and a thing for trimming on the other side. There's a blade on the back of it. There's a blade on the back of the fucking shaver now. You're supposed to do stuff with that as well. They're going to start attaching things to the side of it. There'll be disposable Swiss Army knife things now that you'll have to buy, and you dip them in a mug of shaving foam. I remember my father had an old-fashioned shaving mug with a proper old-fashioned shaving brush, and he'd paint his face with proper shaving foam, and then he'd go down with one swipe, and swipe, and everything's gone. You don't even need the towel off if you do it properly, because you've taken off every single piece of shaving foam with the blade and the hair all in one swipe. And men don't know how to do that anymore. Well, maybe they do when they just aren't able to. You can know how to do something and still not be able to. You can know, for example, how to drive a helicopter, but still not be able to, because for one thing you don't have one, and for another thing it's illegal to just get in a helicopter and drive it. You have to have all sorts of licenses. You probably have to. Do you have to talk to air traffic control to drive a helicopter? I don't know. And they'd probably freak out if you said, "I want to drive my helicopter." They'd say, "Christ, this fella doesn't even know what driving an aircraft is called. It's called piloting." Or what is it? No, it's not. Is it called piloting? If you're going to pilot an air, I suppose it is. Just answered my own question there. Anyway, on with the show. Rhetorical. That's the word I was trying to think of. I've thought of it now just as I was listening back to the previous segment and deciding that I need to do another couple of minutes before the break. Luckily, this will take up a couple of minutes now, and then it'll be time for the break. Well, I say it's a break. It's an entertaining interval which both helps you to find ways to support this programming and also entertains ruins you just by who am I kidding? It's a fucking advertisement.
Into your head.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener. Email studio@intoyourhead.com.
Can you see me from where you're sitting? You probably can't. That means you need glasses. And what better way to get them than through the Into Your Head website, delivered straight from the Into Your Head website to your door, worldwide shipping, and the show makes a generous commission at no extra cost for you. Just go to intoyourhead.com, down the left, scroll along the prescription glasses, goggles for you ad, and browse for your prescription eyewear, your contact lenses, your glasses, your weird bifocals for freaks, and all the rest of it. And if you're one of the listeners who doesn't wear glasses, wear shoes instead, because we have a new shoes affiliate now on the website. Just go to intoyourhead.com, click on the shoes ad on the left, and browse a wide variety of shoes for men and women of all shapes and sizes and sorts. You can buy your shoes online through the Into Your Head website from a place in America. Free shipping, easy return policy, and all the rest of it. And if you don't want to shop through my generous advertisers, just leave a tip in the tip jar. Intoyourhead.com. Thank you for supporting the podcast, Joel Art.
Into your head.
Two cats walk into a marketing stroke advertising services agency that does work for the PepsiCo company, or whatever the Irish company is that has the franchise for Pepsi. I think it might be C&C. Is it Cantrell and Cochrane? I think it might be, or maybe I think it is. I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much, because this is all rhetorical. Here, I remember the word now that I've already used it, and now I've used it twice, which I suppose is fine, because I was complaining earlier that I was overusing the thesaurus. So now I've used the word rhetorical twice and not gone rooting for a thesaurus to find a different word to use instead of it the next time. So I've learned my lesson there. The slap in the face worked, although even if I'd wanted to look up another word for rhetorical earlier, I couldn't have, because I couldn't even think of the word rhetorical itself. So I couldn't have just gone, I'm trying to think of another word for this word that I can't even bring to mind at the moment. How do I look that up? No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work at all. Well, that's all rhetorical now anyway, and it's all in the past. It's all a thing of the past. So let's move on into the future, into part 2 of today's program. Hello and welcome to the part 2 of today's program. Coming up, we'll have another 13 or 14 minutes of audio stuff, whatever I can cobble together, having not had any caffeine today, unless you count the caffeine in this Pepsi Max, and I've only had a couple of sips of that. Although I just remembered I did have 2 double espressos this morning around breakfast time. 1.5 double espressos, which I suppose is 3 espressos if you want to look at it that way, but I don't, because I had first I had a double espresso with milk on top of it, then I started another double espresso, and then I decided, wait a minute, I'm not going to finish this, because for one thing I want to sleep tonight, and for another thing it's going cold anyway, so I poured the rest of it out. It was rather wasteful when you think about it, especially now that I'm using fancy whole coffee beans and putting them through a fancy machine. It's a bit wasteful. Well, don't worry, I'm not usually like that. Not usually either. The point is, I just remembered I did have caffeine today, but it was several hours ago. It wasn't as usual the 2 hours before recording getting ramped up on caffeine. No, it was an incidental caffeine intake a few hours ago. I don't think it's having much effect on this program. And who are you to say that's not true? I'm the expert on what's affecting me and what's not affecting me, unless you're some sort of a psychiatrist or a head doctor or anything else, I suppose, that might study a person person's operation. You might be, for example, a skin expert or a fingernail chopper monitor. Is there people who monitor fingernails? Maybe there is. There must be. If there's people, there's hand models in the print industry. People who have good hands and they use them to put them in commercials where they're advertising finger paint or something. That finger paint that women put on their women like to chop their nails off and then buy extensions and glue the extensions on. What they don't realise is you can just save up your old fingernail clippings and use those as extensions whenever you need them. But of course, women won't cut their nails anymore. No, they let them grow so long that they become almost unmanageable, and then they spend half their week trying to manage them, managing your excess hard skin at the end of your fingers, and that's what women consider as beauty nowadays. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anyway, on with the show. Monkey nuts, that's what they called them. They called them big, steaming, shit-eating, piss-piling, fingernail clipping. Well, wait a minute. Do monkeys groom their fingernails? Because monkeys are well known for grooming each other or grooming themselves and doing humanoid things like that. But do monkeys do anything about their fingernails? Obviously, they don't use finger clippers or paint their nails or anything like that. But maybe they bite their nails. I don't know. Has anyone looked into this, whether monkeys bite their fingernails? I don't see why not. Do monkeys have fingernails? I suppose that's the first question. You have to ask the first question before you can move up a level to the second question. Even though I'm intelligent enough to think of the second, greater and more original question first, I still have to start at the bottom. It's like one of those computer games with levels. You may well be advanced enough to get to the 15th level, but you still have to start at the first level. I won't let you just skip up to the 15th level. So unfortunately, I have to ask first whether or not monkeys have fingernails. Do monkeys have fingernails? I'm going to do this search now because if I delay it for another couple of days, then this episode will be up, and it'll probably, if I search for it then, this search will just arrive at my own website and we'll be stuck in a vicious... Oh, here we go, Yahoo Answers. Somebody asked it 6 years ago on Yahoo Answers, and someone replies, "Good question. Yes, monkeys do have fingernails. However, marmosets and tamarins do not. They are small monkeys that have claws." Okay, so there are monkeys that have fingernails. So that's level 1 done. Let's move up to level 2 now, the proper question. Because anyone could ask, do monkeys have fingernails? I went a level higher and I asked, oh Christ, what did I ask? I asked, do monkeys groom their fingernails? So, do monkeys... do monkeys bite their fingernails? Let's have a look at this now. Do gorillas, chimpanzees, apes bite their fingers, toenails off as they grow? This is on Yahoo Answers too. Let's see. Best answer. Yes, they do. Differently from a lot of mammals, people and apes, instead of claws, possess nails. And then it goes on, blah, 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 blah. And with that being said, they have to bite their fingernails because that's the only way they can get rid of them. I was fucking right. There we go. I was right for once. And if I'm right for once, then there's a good chance. Then I'm 100% right in this instance. There's a good chance that Christ, another word I can't think of, but no, if you broaden that out and stretch it out to cover our whole lives, there's a good chance that I'm 100% right all of the time. If I'm 100% right during the last 3 minutes with everything I said, then that's a good chance that I'm 100% right all of the time. Although I admit that in reality that's probably not the case. But if I ever need to claim that it is the case, I have proof now. I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, oh, now that's interesting. That's very interesting what he's done there. What the fella I'm looking at out the window as I listen to this program is doing there. Well, I can't see what you can see. You have to remember that when you're listening to my program, you have to remember that I can only see what's in my mind's eye here. And I can see into the next estate as well. I can see some woman pushing a pram along the footpath in the next estate, although she's disappeared behind a house now. Or in fact, she's disappeared in front of a house because I'm looking at the back of the house. Oh, there she appeared momentarily again between the two houses. Now she's disappeared in front of another house that backs onto this. Well, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point was, whatever I'm thinking here in my mind's eye, I don't have a view of what you can see, especially not Henry. Although now there's an exception to that, because I'm creating stuff in your mind's eye here, so I have a fairly good idea of what you're thinking in your mind's eye as you listen to this, because I'm putting at that there, although I won't have the exact variation that you come up with, because you might interpret it all differently, but the point is I can't see what you can see with your real eye, your so-called real eye. You think your real eye, which is just a blob of it's just a blob of crap stuck in the front of your face, you think that's more real than your mind's eye, which is real thoughts created in your brain that last forever and can be recorded on tape. You think that's less real than a bit of jelly, basically, that's pushed into two holes either side of your nose. Christ, we humans are fucking weird. You know that. You probably do. Well, you do now because I've told you. But I wasn't really saying that as a statement. I was just making an observation. You can make an observation, but still be well aware that everyone already knows it. You're just observing something that everyone knows already. It's really just making conversation. It's like if you go up to someone in the street and you say, "Oh, it's very cold today." It's not like you're expecting them to say, "Is it? Oh, I didn't know. Thank you for letting me know." No, you're not putting yourself out as a meteorologist. You're just making conversation, and there's no harm in that. It just doesn't necessarily add anything to the world if you do it like that. That's why we talk about more important things than the weather here. We talk about the mind's eye and whether monkeys groom themselves and all the rest of it. The weather can go and sort itself out on some radio program. They can say, "We'll have an update on the weather at 7 minutes past the 10. That's what you Americans do on your radio. You have sports on the trees. You have sports at 3 past and 13 past and 23 past and 33 past and 43 past and 53 past the hour on your radio news channels. We don't have that. We have news every half hour or sometimes every 20 minutes because there's such a thing as overdoing it. You have your news every half hour and you have a bit of fucking content in between. That's what you do. Ain't what you do, it's the way that's a song, isn't it? It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. And don't do it 6 times a fucking hour, for Christ's sake. Anyway, good morning.
Into your